When Operation Broken Fang rolled out the other day, so did something else. If you've booted up a competitive match recently, you might have noticed that Warmup has changed. While everybody's joining, you'll no longer be able to rush over to your enemy's buy zone and to assert dominance over them until the first round begins. You may instead be placed in little 1v1 arenas to warm up in a series of fast-paced engagements with an assortment of pre-chosen weapons. Right now it looks like it's only the Valve-made competitive maps which will start with a 1v1 arena. The new maps that have come with the Broken Fang operation don't have it yet. Neither do the hostage maps. And neither does the most official, unofficial map in the game, Cache, despite it having 5 suitable arenas ready to be used. It wasn't hard to see that this change was coming. It was rolled out earlier this year for the 2v2 wingman mode. But if you've gone into no-clip mode recently and flown into the void, like I do almost every day it seems, you'd have noticed not 2 but 5 identical arenas. 5 1v1 arenas for a 2v2 game mode. I wonder why that was. But what do you think of this change? Do you think it's an improvement over what we had before, which was just like one long round where everybody was given $16,000 and respawned back to their buy zone every time they died? I'll admit, something never sat quite right with me about the warm-up period. It felt like an incomplete feature. I know it's simply there to serve as a glorified lobby while the game's waiting for everybody to connect, but it seemed sloppy that you could run out of money and be stuck scanning the ground for weapons on the floor to use, and it would inevitably end with one team absolutely pwning the other, spawn camping them repeatedly and asserting dominance until the game began for real. One suggestion I always liked that it should be set to deathmatch mode instead. That would have done away with the problem of dropped weapons spamming up the map, and it would have got around the $16,000 money cap. And it would have prevented that ridiculous spawn camping that we all love to do so much. But it's not like 1v1 arenas aren't without their appeal. It's been a popular game mode for a while now, as a great way to warm up your aim and with very little downtime. Much like Retake, it seems like these arenas are Valve stealing a part of the game's custom community. This will no doubt make it even harder for those communities to exist. They are already hidden behind several clicks, deep inside the community server browser. Now, with their appeal slowly being eroded away by their inclusion within the game's far more accessible official game modes, I can only see these communities dying off even more as a result of these changes. Though it doesn't fully replicate the 1v1 experience. It doesn't have the ranked feature that the custom servers do. Those things have a dynamic leaderboard, where winning a 1v1 puts you up a place and losing one drops it down by one again. This means the best players on the server will end up at the top, facing off against each other almost every round, while the weaker players will end up at the bottom, facing off against the other less skilled players on the server. There is definitely an appeal to fighting your way up the leaderboard until you can finally test yourself against the server's best player, only to get immediately headshot and then to have your confidence shattered by 6 consecutive losses, returning you back to where you started again. But it didn't matter, because it only took moments for your fortune to change. Every new 1v1 was like a fresh start. This leaderboard feature is definitely something about the 1v1 servers that makes them vastly superior to the warm-up period in CSGO right now. That and the diverse collection of custom maps. And of course the banter between people on those custom servers.
GG, right, I'm gonna go now, see you guys later. Bye.
The other problem with these warm-up 1v1 arenas that are in the game right now is that bots don't have a clue how to use them. Bots work by following a pre-calculated nav mesh around the map, but since these arenas are disconnected from any sort of objective, bots don't know what's going on or even which direction to look, and more often than not just spend their time running into walls or jumping repeatedly. Valve, please fix. In terms of whether these arenas are an improvement, I only have to imagine the opposite happened, like if we went from having these 1v1 arenas to going back to how Warmup used to be. When I imagine that, I feel like these arenas are probably a step in the right direction. They make sense, even if I don't like them. While returning from a last-minute toilet break, I just take seeing my AFK character getting shot in the face way too seriously. In my opinion, the new 1v1 arenas put me under more pressure than before. I know that dying in them shouldn't matter, but it does. I simply don't want to be trapped in a small box and shot by a dictator over and over again. Just like I didn't used to like being surrounded by AFK teammates in spawn, getting repeatedly mowed down by a 5-stack of enemies, all on it with snipers and all sporting anime profile pictures. Again, it shouldn't matter, but it does, and enough to make me want to avoid it either by fighting back or by hiding in a corner somewhere, or better still by killing them and then by hiding in a corner somewhere, even if I know all this will be forgotten by the time the game begins for real. But it's just something I can't do now I'm stuck in a little box arena with an aggressive player. But maybe that's why Valve has chosen to do this. To keep the pressure on, to level the playing field, and to always give you something to shoot at, and to keep everybody engaged while the 10th player fails to connect for a whole 4 minutes and 59 seconds. Let's face it, the entire concept of Warmup just sucks.
You're a champion!